how do you tackle self-doubt and other people's external opinions of you? So, self-doubt is the mind's quiet rebellion against its own potential. It's the internal hesitation that arises when your perception of yourself lags behind your actual capacity. So, in other words, it's not ignorance of your abilities. You know that you have it, it's just that you don't trust them as much due to external conditioning that you've received since your childhood. So, your self doubt involves the difference between your lived competence and your imagined inadequacy. So, because those two are conflicting each other, you're kind of stuck in a plateau and you don't really know what to think anymore you because one part of you thinks that you can do something, but the external conditioning you received as a child tells you that, oh, you cannot do it because of the stories that you tell yourself. So self-doubt is actually a pretty powerful thing because it isn't actually all that destructive. It's just, it can be a sign of self-awareness, humility, and the desire to do things well. But the danger comes when it becomes chronic, because if you constantly doubt yourself, you're not really going to get anywhere, and you're not going to do the stuff that you've always wanted to do. So a little bit of self-doubt is humane, it's okay, but you can't let it consume you. It's like Mr. Miyagi saying to Daniel-san in Karate Kid that you can lose to opponent, but you must not lose to fear, and that's what self-doubt actually is. So the confident man also doubts himself, but the difference is he doesn't let the fear consume him, he gets past it, and he doesn't try to get rid of the fear. He sits in that uncomfortability, and that's what splits somebody who's not confident to somebody who's actually confident. So self-doubt isn't who you actually are. Self-doubt isn't a part of your identity. Self-doubt is just you simply asking yourself questions, and you need questions to be able to help you prepare for any possibility. So, when it comes to your own family not believing in you, when it comes to your own family not believing in you, the wound cuts deeper than the ordinary doubt, because it's a collision between your emerging identity and the fixed perception of you. Tackling self-doubt in that environment requires both inner discipline and strategic emotional boundaries. So, in order to tackle your parents not believing in you, you must separate their perception from your potential, and you must say to yourself that there's you on one side, which is what you know you are, and then there's the other side, which is what your parents think you are. And you need to be a bit narcissistic and selfish to be able to draw the line between and say, I'm this guy, but the version of me that you instilled in your head needs an update. And you just need to prove to yourself and end up changing your entire image and your reputation of who you actually are, because people stop doubting you once they see the results. And obviously, you shouldn't be so attached to the results just to please others. You should just grind anyway, regardless of what the result is. I'm not saying that you would fail if you detach. All I'm saying is when you detach, you're not so emotionally invested to the point where this entire thing just consumes you and gets into people pleasing. So, my next point is let your achievement become your argument. So, the people who doubt you often only understand proof and not potential, because potential is what you can be on paper, but your achievements are kind of like what you actually have. So, it's kind of like an income statement. So, there's the entire income and there's what you earn after taxes. It matters more what you earn after taxes. It doesn't matter what your entire salary revenue is. And another, going into my next point, when you get achievements, you need to have friends and a specific environment around you that supports you, because being constantly around negativity is going to make you the next negative person. And negative people don't often have a good mentality and approach to life. So if you cut those people off and you start embodying positive things, you will eventually use the law of attraction to get the life that you want. And this thing exactly happened with Conor McGregor. He was stuck in a job as a plumber, and he was taking welfare money from his wife. And now he's one of the richest fighters ever because he didn't have a backup plan in case he failed. He actually quit his job to go into the UFC, and he became a double champion. So what I'm saying is, if you're going all in into a goal, do not have a backup plan, because that's the worst thing you can do. You're basically saying to yourself that you're preparing to fail, because a captain should always sink with this shit. So if you fail, at least you fail honorably. If you fail and go back to something else, then you weren't really about it, were you? So you need to be fully committed to your cause and your goals. My next point, this actually touches really nicely into my next point. A touch on narcissism and selfishness preserves your energy and protects your identity, because healthy narcissism isn't delusion, it's self-respect with teeth. It's the part of you that says, I'm allowed to take myself seriously, and I'm allowed to pursue what goals I want to. And with selfishness, selfishness in this case is more like self-belief, and it requires resources, time, focus, and emotional bandwidth. And if you're constantly focusing on other people, you will not have that selfishness that you really need to achieve your goals. And now ego. Ego is a touchy subject because Buddhist monks say ego is very dangerous, but they're talking about the type that can destroy you. But the type of ego that is self-belief, that is conflicted self-belief, it can definitely propel you to new heights. Because Conor McGregor, he had an ego, but it was a healthy one, and he was very humble at the same time. So it's kind of like you need to have a dual personality there as well, and be a polymath. You need to be able to master multiple things at once. You need to be able to be humble. You also need to be able to be cocky. You also need to have strong self-belief. You also need to set clear goals. You need to be assertive. So mixing all of these skills actually helps you destroy your self-doubt. And this goes to my next point. Your thoughts aren't you. Your thoughts are only a reflection of the stories you tell yourself. And your thoughts don't become you until you embody those thoughts and label them as a part of your identity. So if you just have bad thoughts and let it sit there, it's not going to be a part of you. You just let it pass. And in fact, letting the doubt sit with you is the best thing you can do, instead of trying so hard to get rid of it. Because I learned that caring too much can actually be detrimental for you. And sometimes giving less care to other things, it gives you more time to care about other things. So basically all I have to say is, when it comes to your self-doubt, listen to your own internal dialogue. If you think you're not capable of it, actually listen to yourself. See what other people are saying about it, see what the external people are saying, and if you feel like you can, then go for it. If you can't, then I can't do anything about it. However, I hope this video helped you, and yeah, thanks for watching.